Welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice. Join me as we explore spirituality, self-help, and channeling spirit. Hello and welcome to From Beyond with your host Glenn Boddice, spiritual medium. Thank you for tuning in once more for another very interesting deep dive. In this week's episode, we're going to be discussing the topic of living a balanced life. Also in this week's episode, we have the channeling from the world of spirit, which sees me becoming a vessel for spirit to bring their communications and wisdom through. And then later on in the show, we have this week's energy forecast reading, which will hopefully help you navigate your way through the twists and turns of this week ahead. So as I say, today we're discussing the topic of living a balanced life. So let's break this down, shall we, so that we can get to some level of understanding of what it takes to live a fully balanced life. Well, first of all, let's start with our mental health. Our mental health, as we all know, is very important. It's certainly a tool, our mind, that we use every single moment of every single day. And if that becomes clogged or overwhelmed, it won't have a tendency to flow and work to the best of its advantage. So with our mental health, I would certainly recommend that we keep a check-in on ourselves. Be the observer of the mind. Be the observer of the thoughts that are coming in and are going. And also, tidy house. Keep your mind tidy. So if there's clutter in your mind, old thoughts, old belief systems, nonsense happening in the mind that's blocking or clogging your mind, then it's knowing that it's there and having that strength and courage to let it go. You don't need it anymore. Let it go. Let those rogue thoughts go. They're not serving you. They're just slowing down your system there as well. Also having and being in a state of non-attachment. And this takes some practice where we just watch and observe our mind as it is a processing tool when all said and done. And it's picking up on thought vibration, on inspiration, and it's trying to process that information. Sometimes, like I say, it will latch on to certain things that it doesn't necessarily need to. So having that perception of non-attachment will also allow you to process what needs to stay and what needs to go in terms of thoughts and the level and the processing speed that you're thinking there. The next thing I'd like to address is your emotional health. And this is very important because, as we all know, we can, particularly those of us that are very sensitive, can reach a point where we get overly stimulated by not only our own emotions, but the emotions of others. We can even get triggered by the emotions of others. So again, this would call upon you to assess. Check in with yourself emotionally. Assess, how are you feeling? Is that my initial emotion? Or am I picking up on somebody else's? And adjusting accordingly. So again, a bit like the mental state, if those emotions aren't serving you, or maybe you're holding or attaching on to emotions. For example, situations in your life that you've gone through and everybody else has moved on from that situation, and yet you still have an emotional attachment to it. Then obviously this is where you assess that emotion. Is it serving me? Why have I still got it? Is it still here to teach me a lesson? Am I not seeing that lesson yet? Am I just being stubborn and wanting this to play out the way it's always has done? So by assessing your emotions there, adjusting accordingly, and then letting that energy flow through you. Don't hold on to it anymore, because it will have a tendency to block your emotions, your judgment, in your mentality there as well. And also it will stop that flow and ease and grace in your life if you allow yourself to become overwhelmed with your emotions. The next thing, in order to live a balanced life, is your physical health. Obviously, our bodies are a vehicle for our soul, and so we want to keep them in tip-top condition, the best that we can actually be. And the way that you do this, obviously, you have to maintain it. You have to cleanse it, clean it. You have to feed it, don't you? You have to put the right nourishment in there that will serve you in terms of energy, in terms of your digestive system, also with your, also with the energy, as I've mentioned, also with the vitamins and minerals to keep everything ticking over in the physical body. But also what your physical body will crave is exercise. Now, I know for many of you listening, when you hear that word, you think, oh no, I can't stand doing that. But I guarantee you, once you've done some exercise, whether this is at the gym, going for a run, lifting weights, or even if it's a walk around the block. I mean, how many times have people that don't generally exercise gone out on their dinner hour for a walk and a think, and they come back to work and they feel refreshed, rejuvenated. They seem to have more of a spring in their step there as well. So it's very important that we do get that physical exercise. Also, what our physical body does require is expression. And maybe if you've just been seated in a job or at home for too much, then you will feel that urge to express some of that energy. Maybe you'll start to get hyperactive, or you'll want to do something to express that energy that's been laying dormant within you as you've been sitting there. Also, what is required of the physical body is knowing when it needs rest. Now, many of us that work long hours and do various roles within our life will keep ticking off those jobs off our to-do list, ticking those boxes off and moving on to the next one, and then the next one, and the next one. And we're not satisfied until we've completed that daily list or task list there, are we? And yet in doing that, sometimes our body is giving us the signals, well, actually, yes, you've done a lot, blah, 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 but you need to rest. You need to rest, get your energy back, get that refreshment back there, so that then you can tackle the next task on your list with more vigor, with more energy, with more clarity, and you can achieve better. So your body will be telling you that you will need a rest. So it's a case of listening to your physical body when it's firing off these signals to you. The next thing is your spiritual health. Now, as you know, I'm a spiritual medium, and there will be many of you out there listening that have various and different spiritual belief systems with your faiths, which is completely fine. That's completely fine. But with your spiritual health or your belief systems, what I would say with that is sometimes you can have a tendency to get overwhelmed with all of the information, with all of the energy, with all of the love, with all of the greatest intentions in the world, and the belief systems, and maybe conflicting belief systems between yourself and other people, and that can cause some stress and cause some anxiety, can't it, there as well? And it can become slightly overwhelming. But I would say with this, again, it's all about balance, isn't it? And it's all about trusting. Whatever your belief system is, trust with your heart and use your heart to navigate your way through your spiritual practices. Which leads me on to something that I like to do. I find this very beneficial. Now, there will be those of you out there will have different ideas on this, which is, again, is completely fine. What I would say is that you find your own way and make a space in your life for your spiritual health, your spiritual practices. So for me, for example, daily, if I can do that, then daily is highly recommended. And this is meditation. Now, for me, I do the traditional way of meditating, but also meditating isn't just about lying down or listening to meditation music and chanting and all of that. You can actually meditate whilst you're walking. You can meditate whilst you're doing chores around the home, such as ironing, washing the dishes, sorting clothes out, tidying up. Meditation, in my opinion, is where we create and allow that space to form in our mind, where we're just in that state of observation. We've quietened the mind down. There's no stimulation there. We're just in that space for observation. And it's in that space of observation where we start to get our inspiration, the answers that we need to our prayers, and also guidance that we need to help us on the next step or run of the ladder within our life. So meditation, I would say, in your spiritual health and practice is very important. Definitely. Also, intentions in your day-to-day spiritual practice. So how do you feel, for example? How do you want to feel in your day? What would you like to achieve in your day? By setting these intentions, these goals, before your day even unfolds, then this gives you a greater connection to the very things that you want to manifest in your day there. And with saying it with conviction and feeling into it, this will then propel you into making the necessary actions that it takes from you mentally, emotionally, physically, in order to complete those tasks and to do those intentions that you have set throughout your day. Also there as well, like I say, putting it into action, but also looking at the heading, living a life of balance. This also requires you to use your intuition. So you may feel compelled to put something into action for a certain period of time, and then all of a sudden that energy starts to wane and you're not feeling that intense drive or pull for you to continue to complete that task. Well, this again is your intuition telling you maybe it's time to rest and reevaluate and revisit that task. And then you'll be more clear in your mind and you'll have more energy, and you'll be using more intensified inspiration within that there. The next thing I'd like to discuss is family life as well. So family life, if you're married, if you're single, if you have children, if you're an uncle, if you're an auntie, if you're a grandma, granddad, whatever it is, family life. If you're a wife, a husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is, family life. In order to keep everything balanced with that there as well, is to have a state of non-judgment with whatever family life throws at you. I like to find that if you sit on the fence and observe everybody's perspective with non-judgment, you can then add value by giving them your support, by exposing and showing them and telling them all other aspects of their issues that they haven't maybe observed themselves. And although they're family members, yes, you're going to support them, you're going to help them, but you're not going to side up with them, so to speak. What I mean by that is you're not going to take a biased approach just because they're your son or your daughter or, your wife or your husband. In actual fact, you're going to see the bigger picture, you're going to make them aware of it, and then together as a family, with your support, you're then going to bring forward the best outcome that serves everyone, that benefits one and all. And by doing that, that also instills those ideals into the family circle there. This will initially help you to avoid any squabbling, any fights, any discord, because it instills that look before you leap, don't judge perception. into the family unit there. But also with family, having a balanced family life is obviously giving love, giving unconditional love where it is needed. Now, we all need that love and support, don't we? And we all like to feel that we're wanted, we're deserving, and that we have a support network around us, whether this is our family, whether it's close friends or a really strong friendship circle. We all love having that there. So why not be that system yourself as well, not only for yourself, but for those around you, and then it will naturally gravitate back to you as you're instilling that lesson into the family unit there. Obviously, families love your time, and time is your greatest asset after all. So the fact that you're choosing to spend time with the family and having those intuitive moments, having those discussions, and just being there, that means so much. And then obviously placing your attention towards your family. This could be if you have children of your own or grandchildren. They may need assistance with either something that they're studying or learning, or they would like your perception of what it is they're doing, which will in turn give them a greater understanding of what they're studying, what they're learning. And also in the family circle there, problem solving, if you can help with problem solving. We mentioned this earlier about you having a perception of non-judgment, seeing all angles of a situation, assessing all angles of the situation in a non-biased viewpoint, and then looking at the potentialities for each one of those. And then after discussing that, then it's down to where the family sees the best outcome to be. And you can do this by a voting mechanism. Hands up, who thinks this is right, who thinks that's right. But anyway, problem solving as a family can be fun. It can be very important, obviously, because it involves everybody in the family unit, and you want everybody to be working together harmoniously. So adopting this new level of cohesiveness, if that's such a term, in order to work together will also cement and bring that family unit together, and also add to living a balanced life. Now, work life as well. What many of us like to do is we like to crack on, get the work done, come home and then rest. Sometimes when we're at work, we find that we're doing too much and we're obsessing to the point where it's knocking everything else in our life out of balance. And then this is where we feel that distortion. This is where we feel that disharmony. So what I recommend with your work life is setting some healthy boundaries so that you can achieve small steps each day that lead up to the end goal in your work life there. And also it leaves some space for you to also have that work-life family balance there as well. Like I say, don't become obsessed with the work. Now, I know work is very important for us all, but sometimes it can be quite consuming. It can take over our waking thoughts, our emotions. We go to bed at the evening, we're thinking about work. We wake up in the morning, we're thinking about what we need to do at work. And it can be very consuming mentally, emotionally, and this can have an impact on your family, your friends. And so it's worth setting some healthy boundaries with your work environment there. And maybe setting aside this time for work, that time for family. You may have to have it as black and white as that. But the choice is yours. But being aware of it, that all adds up to the balance within your life. The next thing I'd like to address. Now, this is something that we all need to do on a regular basis, and this is to have more fun. We're all so serious, aren't we? We're also like, oh, is this right? Is that right? There's all this anxious level of thinking, and we're all adulting 24/7 that we forget that we need space for fun. We need to allow our inner child to explore and express and have playtime like we did when we was at school. There was always time for playtime. This is your time where you express yourself, where you connect with people, where you have fun, where you let off steam. So we all need that portion of our lives bringing to the surface. And we can do this, most of us do this, in a work or family environment where we allow ourselves to be a little bit playful with our words. And we inject comedy and a sense of humour into day-to-day interactions and conversations. Again, that is a way of creating that balance in your life. You're allowing that inner child to come to the surface and play and be playful, and also make other people feel comfortable in your presence, allowing them to then interject and be playful with you, with their sense of humour coming to the surface. So it's very important that we allow that inner child to be expressed, allowing its voice to be heard, allowing all of that energy to be expressed through us on a day-to-day basis. With saying this as well, we all have a creative streak within us as well. And this creative streak can come in many forms, as I'm sure you're all aware. But what it needs is an outlet. It needs an outlet of some sort. Because if we don't have that outlet for the creative side of ourselves, we start to feel agitated, grumpy, irritable, and not very nice company to be around if we're storing and holding all of that creative energy within ourselves and not giving it permission or allowing it to be expressed. Now, some of these things I'm talking about, the creative side of you, could quite simply be, it could be artwork. You could be a craftsperson. You might find the need to write. You might feel the need to play an instrument, sing, dance, perform, act, even do sport or climbing or anything like that. You may feel that desire coming up to the surface, but because life is so busy, you're pressing it down, you're pushing it down, you're not allowing it to be expressed. And again, this will only last so long before you will be like, I would say, a volcano of energy wanting to erupt, and you will need that outlet to express this creative energy. So this is also part of your life that needs your attention, and it needs you to actually say yes to it. It doesn't matter what time restraints you put around that, just the fact that you're factoring in that creative streak within you, permission to be expressed in your life. Now, something else that's very important that I find very healing, and this is traveling. Having a change of scenery is very important because, after all, it goes in tandem with the saying, a change is as good as a rest. So it allows us to recalibrate our way of thinking, maybe the feeling of being overwhelmed with our emotions. It also gives us permission. Again, that inner child would come to the surface, allowing us to go on new adventures, to explore new things that we've never experienced before, new locations, maybe places with a lot of historic value to them, or different cultures. It allows us to be like a sponge. And although we're absorbing these new energies, these new experiences, it's allowing us to let go of some of those tensions, maybe emotionally, mentally, spiritually, even with our workload. It's allowing us to release some of that stress and pressure that we've placed upon ourselves within our life. And so travel can be a wonderful gift. It doesn't matter where the location is, but every now and again, you will all have that natural urge to go out there and go and see and explore something new. I mean, how many of you, when it comes to the weekend and you haven't got any plans and you just feel this natural urge, right, I need to get out. I need to either go into town, go into a city, or I need to go into the countryside and get some nature. I just feel the urge that I've got to do that. I don't know what day it is yet, and you trust your intuition, what day you're going to do that over the weekend. If you can factor that into your busy schedule, you will feel that calling. So if you answer that calling, you'll, I would say, reap the benefits of travel. And this will have a dramatic positive impact into every facet of your day-to-day living, because you've allowed yourself that time out to recalibrate and to experience this beautiful healing aspect in, like I say, a change is as good as a rest. Also, something else I'd like to address is have time for you. Now, this is something that everybody says, oh, I haven't got time for that. I can't do meditation. I can't do this. I've got those to pick up. I've got that to do. And we can have 1,001 excuses under the sun there, can't we? But in actual fact, it is very important, because without you being right, mentally, emotionally, physically, then everything else in your life will suffer as a result of you not looking after you and not gifting yourself that beautiful gift of time that you give so openly and freely to everybody else that you're involved with in your life. So this could be, I always give this example to people. Most of us go to the loo, the lavatory, at least twice a day. On those occasions, give yourselves 5 minutes. Be a multitasker whilst you're there, and just sit or stand, whatever your preference is, and just clear that space in your mind and slow your breathing down. By slowing the breath down, it slows the racing speed and the processing speed down of your mind, your thoughts. And in doing that, you'll start to feel a lot more calmer. Things will start to slot into place a lot easier with your to-do list in terms of prioritizing. Also, you'll notice how relaxed your muscles feel in your body. You'll notice that your breathing's calmer, your mental state is calmer, and you won't feel as anxious as what you did prior to going to the smallest room in the house there. So I'd recommend that you, if you keep saying I haven't got time, you will have time. You at least go to the bathroom twice a day, where potentially you could have 10 minutes for you, where you reset and recalibrate you. And then everything else within your life will start to flow better. Also, I want to say to you as well, to go easy. I know I've given you lots of examples within this episode, but you don't have to have a generic checked list. Go easy on yourself. Don't put yourself under pressure. Don't allow yourself to be swept in by drama in your life, because that will only add to your sense of anxiety and feeling stressed, and also finding yourself making excuses that you can't do this, I can't do that because of this, I'm feeling like this, Can you see how my voice has speeded up there with that level of anxious thinking? Again, reminding you to slow down, connect in with the breath, relax the physical body, and hold that space in your mind as you focus upon your breathing will bring you back into alignment. So I hope what we've suggested on here today gives you a greater understanding and a perception of how you can live a balanced life. Maybe just observing some of those suggestions I've given you today will at least allow you to experience life on a new level, on your own terms, that make you feel more in alignment with who you are as a person, and where you can add value to all those that you come in contact with. Well, we're now going to be moving into the next segment of the show, which is this week's channeling from the world of spirit, which sees me becoming a vessel for spirit to bring their wisdom and communications through. And I've personally noticed the level of communicators that have been coming through over these past weeks have been changing. We've been getting quite a collection of different characters, and it's interesting to hear how they do come through, like a strongest energy makes its way through and births through, blends with my frequency. Obviously my frequency has got to be on some level in alignment with those communicators that are coming through. So I've noticed personally my own vibration changing as I've become more increasingly sensitive and more also considerate about the space that I need in my life in order to allow these new changes to come in, and also just to be that vessel for spirit to bring their communications through. Involves me actually clearing out house, clearing out some old belief systems, allowing myself to flow with this energy that comes through. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's channeling from the world of spirit.
We would like to talk to you about the spiritual ascension process. As many of you know, there's been a lot of changes that have been happening on your timeline in your earth-bound incarnation. Most recently, in the month of April of 2024, there's been a lot of energetic upheaval and shifts within your personal and global frequency. This has resulted in a shift in your vibration, a shift in your DNA configuration within each and every one of you, particularly those of you that are willing and open to make this change and flow with the vibrations that are bringing forward that invitation of hope and of multitude of abundance into your life. Now, with this spiritual ascension, as many of you know, you will experience many things with your physicality. For example, there'll be a lot of you that will be experiencing hearing rumbling tones and frequencies, undescribable. Yet this is the best way that we can pinpoint what you're going through. Simply, this is Mother Earth, and this is the tones that she, or whatever you would like to term Earth as, this is the tones and frequencies that are being emitted in order to expand and grow. And as you know, everything is from frequency, from sound, and this is what you're encountering. It can sound and feel pretty intimidating when you first come into contact with this experience, as you will feel the vibrations in not only your atmosphere. Physically, you'll feel things shaking. You'll also hear a rather distasteful, low vibrational hum that will go through your physicality and make you feel very uneasy indeed, as you will feel as if there's nothing that you can do in order to escape this sort of experience. And we say to you, see it as a blessing rather than a curse, because you are one of the chosen ones that are awake and aware and are in alignment with this vibration to experience it. Also, there's been a lot of changes with yourselves on a vibrational level, to the point where you've been experiencing ringing within your ears, buzzing within the ears. Also, the eyesight will have gone in and out of focus and gone from dark to light. And we would say it's almost as if you've been switched on to another channel where you can broadcast and receive information from other frequencies, visually, audibly as well. And also the level of sickness, as your intuition, your solar plexus and your sacral chakra will be forced to come into alignment. And this can also cause a lot of upset with you physically, shall we say, where you're finding yourself purging all of the substances within you that doesn't bring you any nutrients or any stability within your physical or energetic body. So you'll find yourself relieving yourself of these toxins and energies and physical substances. As a result, you'll find yourself going to the lavatory more regularly than perhaps you have done for a while, and you'll find yourself sweating profusely some of these toxins out of the physical body in order for you to be that clear vessel of light. You'll also find that you'll be feeling the urge to drink more water. The purer the better, as this is helping you flush out and through these toxins that are, shall we say, stumbling blocks upon you attaining that ascension process. You'll also find aspects of dizziness within your mind there, and going in and out of a daydream-like state in your waking consciousness. Many people will try and interact with you, and you will be very forgetful with what you've just been speaking about or what you've just been doing. In other words, you're shifting in and out of frequency in different dimensions. And this is you pivoting from one to the other, and people are witnessing that, thinking that you're, shall we say, engaged elsewhere. Also, there's a level of palpitations that many of you will be feeling in your heart and your heart chakra. Now, this alone can be very frightening and intimidating, all in the same space, because your heart, you say, has to align with these new vibrations. And in order for it to do that, it has to skip a beat or two in order to get back on track onto your highest timeline. This also will have an impact on your breathing within your physical body. We'll see you again going in and out of breath and finding yourself gasping for air and realigning with the frequencies within the air molecules that you are feasting on, shall we say. But nevertheless, all of these symptoms are symptoms of you moving into a higher timeline, a timeline that will not only serve you as an individual on your life path and your life purpose, but also will be the navigating and influential factor that will also catapult and inspire those of like mind around you, observing you. It will give them that security in the fact, well, if they can do it, I can do it, and it's safe to move forward. And sometimes there needs to be leadership. There needs to be certain souls and individuals, not because they're greater or better than anybody else. No, not at all. Simply because those souls have elected to be that guiding, leading light upon this ascension journey for others to follow. That is all. You are all going through it in varying degrees, and it all goes back to whether you're prepared to release and let a lot of these old belief systems, toxins, energies, and also subconscious blocks within you go. And those of you that are still holding on to pockets of that information, albeit mental, emotional, physical, energetic, whatever it shall be, there's people who are working through and processing through their own, shall we say, their own educational stories within their processes. Sorry for that there. We're just realigning with the vessel in order to bring this communication through loud and clear. But the reason we bring and tell you all this information is because we do not want you to be fearful. We do not want you to be alarmed with this process. Some of you will have gone through this many times before. Others, this will be a first time. And when it is the first time, it's very intimidating, very frightening. It can be. And this is the reason why we're coming through today, to remove all pockets of fear out of your mentality and let you know that this is a part of the ascension process. There's nothing to fear at all. It's just you releasing and letting go of old versions of yourself in order to move lighter in a more high vibrational state of being. Now, this high vibrational state of being comes with some beautiful opportunities. As your intuition will be on point, you will be able to feel your way and navigate your way through life more so. It doesn't matter whether there's facts and figures. You will follow your intuition, as that will feel right for you, and you'll find that this is what is needed for you to ascend and grow in these timelines. Also, the advantages of this is also that you will be a wonderful manifester, and a lot of you have been denied that pleasure of manifesting what your heart desires simply because of all the naysayers, and we're not having a go at people that are vibrating at those lower frequencies. We're just saying that now you've moved and ascended onto this timeline, you have a greater understanding and more faith and more positivity within your life, that you can align with the things that you desire and want to experience on your timeline. But know this is for the greatest good. And it's not a case of thinking that I'm better than them, I deserve this, no, it's not. It's an ego trip. We're not taking you on an ego trip. We're taking you on a journey of high vibrational alignment, where everybody has that opportunity to thrive and shine within their frequency, within their timeline. So you will spot, as many of you do call them, synchronicities appearing in your timeline. Other people will call them coincidences. Oh, that's a coincidence. I was only talking about that yesterday, and here I am experiencing it now, in this present moment. We say that you've manifested and you've created that experience in your present moment alignment. We're just simply telling you to be aware of it now, because whatever your dominant thought processes are and your emotions, that's going to play out into your form, into your reality. So keeping that high vibrational mindset and staying on that positive timeline will allow you to experience a beautiful life in your present and future moments. And talking about moments, as you know, we've said this many times before, that all there is now, the here and the now, because what else? Everything else exists in your mind, your perception of the past and your involvement in it, or your perception of the future and your projection into it, or not, whatever the case may be. So there's only ever now, and when you're feeling high vibrational, when you're feeling happy, when you're feeling content, and you understand that you have entered the most positive timeline that you've ever experienced up until this point. We assure you that if you trust your feelings and you go with this frequency, this energy change, that your life will blossom and grow tremendously in various avenues of your own choosing. But that's enough of me talking. We hope this has reassured you on the experiences that you've been going through. We hope that this has also put you into alignment and is helping you to make sense of who you are as an individual, experiencing your life in the now. We send you all our healing and love, and we also say to you that for those of you that are listening that feel like you're distant from the rest of society, you may feel alone or rejected in some way, shape or form, we say to you that this is merely an illusion. You are never truly alone. You are always greeted by your spirit guides and your spiritual team. You have an abundance of family around you at all times. And predominantly, you have your highest version of yourself, your higher self, interacting with you in your current version of yourself, encouraging you to make those leaps of faith and to move out of that negative mindset. So never feel that you're alone. You're always being guided and inspired. We leave you with that thought, and we leave you with our abundance of love and healing. And know this, You've only got to ask. Ask the universe, and it shall be done. Thank you for listening. God bless you all.
Wow. Again, incredible transmission there from the world of spirit. Very interesting what they bring forward about the spiritual ascension that we're all going through, and that our vibration is being increased. Our DNA is being changed as well in our present moment consciousness. Don't resist the flow. Just flow with it. Don't resist it. And also interesting to hear about the earth tone there, the heavy, unusual frequencies that have that potential to make us feel a little bit fearful in that moment. And it was encouraging to hear not to worry, that this is perfectly natural as we're going through this ascension period there as well. Also interesting to hear about the ears ringing and also the eyesight changing. I've personally experienced that relatively recently, actually, and it was quite a daunting experience, quite frightening, I must be honest. It was only upon my guides telling me what was actually happening that calmed me down through the situation. So just take one day at a time and be gentle with yourself as well. As your sensitivity is going to be increased, you'll pick up on other people's energies and also energies in environments there. You'll also feel the need to maybe go to the toilet a little bit more regularly than what you normally would do, and increase sweating there. And this is, in fact, releasement. This is what you're doing, going through that process of releasing those old energies. But also more daydreaming. Watch out for us all doing that, maybe thinking about a future that we desire, or, maybe just not being present. So watch out for that during this change of frequency there, as we're all entering a new timeline for our betterment. So very interesting to hear all of that from Spirit. So next we're going to move on to the next section, which is this week's forecast reading. And hopefully this will help you navigate your way through the twists and turns of this week as it unfolds for you. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's forecast reading. Hello, my name is Glenn Boddice and I'm a spiritual medium. And welcome to this week's energy forecast reading for the week commencing Monday, the 29th of April 2024. Now, those of you that have watched me work before will know that I connect with my spirit guides and helpers and also consult the wisdom of the tarot cards. So I'm just about to shuffle the pack and allow a card to come out for this week's energy forecast reading. Wow, here we go. Just pick that card up. Okay. So here is your card for this week's energy forecast reading. I'm now going to link into the vibration of that. First of all, I feel that this week is going to be very transformational for a lot of people that are watching this. And I feel it's going to occur on this level. Basically, I feel as though people will start to look at you slightly differently and people will come into misalignments with you. I'm talking about your nearest and dearest, whether that's in a relationship, whether that's family or friends. There's just going to be this shift in polarities where you're going to actually be given the opportunity to actually stand in your authenticity. And what I mean by that is there's going to be situations that are going to come into your life this week that's going to lead you to that choice of, well, this is who I am. This is the truth of who I am. And you're wanting me to be an old version of me that I am no longer. And so I see that this is going to occur with a lot of you. My guides are saying the guidance with that is it's going to be an exciting journey to actually walk in the vibration of your heart this week. And this will see you doing this from the very get-go of this week. You'll find yourself feeling a little bit nervous when you move into this vibration because it is a path that you've never trodden in this respect before, and there'll be a lot of heads turning as well on two levels. One, in connection with your friends, family, or a loved one or a partner there will be noticing this vast change and difference within you as a person, and this is because you've ascended and you've moved on a new timeline. With this happening, number two is this is where other people are going to notice that change in your vibration, and they will be naturally drawn to you. They'll see something in you, maybe not visually, but on an energetic level, they'll feel that spark and they'll be very drawn to you this week. So watch out for that occurring. I'm also being inspired to tell you that there is a need for you actually to let go of the old version of self, the old version of you. And this sees you wrestling with your mentality this week of what was, what is now, and what is going to flourish moving forward. And it's this wrestling match that only you can deal with. Nobody can do it for you. So have patience with yourself and also allow yourself to maybe release any emotions, some tears, allow some of those tears to come out, grieving for the old version of you that no longer exists in your present moment reality. And it's a very transformative time for you this week. I'm also being told with your dietary requirements are going to change. The food that you're consuming and the drinks that you are consuming. You'll find that your palate, your taste buds will be changing this week to the point where you'll find something that you've enjoyed for years. All of a sudden, it's either too bitter or too sweet for you. It's going to be from one extreme to another. And it will see you actually, oh, that's a shame. I love that food. And now, why is it tasting like that? Have they changed it? In fact, you'll even go to the extremes of blaming the manufacturer or the elements within the item that you're eating, that they've done something different to this, when in actual fact it's your vibration that's changed, and you're not going to be aligning with those sort of foods. I'm being told to tell you to get your diary ready and get some spaces within that diary for you to socialize, to go out and to mingle and interact with other people, because your diary is going to get very full over these up and coming months. So if you can create spaces in your diary for you, and what I mean by this is doing the things that you enjoy, doing the things that you want to do in order to make yourself shine and recuperate there. So let's turn over the card and see what the card has to say. At the top of the card, we've got the word release. So it's going in alignment with what we were saying about you grieving and releasing that old version of yourself this week. It's going to be more obvious now than ever. I do feel as though this process has been going underway since the very start of 2024. However, it's going to be coming up to the surface more so this week. So be gentle with yourself. Even take time out for reflection, mentally and emotionally. That will get you through this situation. There's no avoiding it. Unfortunately, you have to go through it. So be gentle with yourself. Let's read out the inscription at the bottom. It reads, endings that lead to new beginnings. The need to release situations or people that hold you back. Spiritual transformation. Well, that encapsulates everything that my guides have been saying previously to unraveling this card. So also on this card, we've got the A to Z there. To me, that indicates some sort of guidance or reference material, you know, like a dictionary or an A to Z of your country or even your locality where you are. And I feel as though what it represents is you having that natural curiosity, wanting to learn more, wanting to expand more, wanting to have more experiences than perhaps the old version of you did. The old version of you was very comfortable and limited in its surroundings, in its circumstances. This will see you wanting to expand and grow further. The other side, we've got the Roman numeral of XIII, so that is the number of 13. So I'd like you to research the angel number of 13, as I feel that that is very prominent for you, and will give you additional content and information. Also being encouraged to tell you to research the number of 4, which is obviously 3 plus 1 added together, and you will find some more inspiration in that. Looking at the card, the coloration around the card, we've got this brown moving into orange, moving into like an amber red and a brown again. So brown's talking about you being grounded. It's talking about you being present and also feeling that natural urge to connect to nature. Maybe go out for some walks. Maybe this will help with that releasement process and actually allow you to get in touch with your true essence, true nature, rather than trying to skirt around the issue. Nature will heal you through this process. The orange is talking about the abundance of energy that's coming into your life. You'll feel more hyperactive. You'll be fitting more into your daily duties, and you'll be wondering, how am I managing to do that? And it's all because you've moved on to a new timeline and you're seeing it and you're feeling into your life, and you can put all these pieces together, and that's how you're creating more time and getting more out of your day there. The red's also talking about grounding, being present, and also watch out for passion coming into your life. That passion building up in your heart. Looking into the artwork of the card, we've got these two towers at the background. I want to give you the angel number of number 2 to research, as I feel there's additional content and information within that. Also, it's talking about your counterpart, whether you're male, whether you're female, whatever your preference is, there's going to be, it feels like either a romantic partner or somebody that you're linking in with that will be tapping into your psyche. You will feel completely at ease and at one with this individual there. We've got this masculine angel there with the arms open there. The masculine energy is telling you to take that leadership role, take your power back and stand your ground. Also telling you to be open to new opportunities coming in and learn to say yes more rather than maybe, I'm not sure, can I get back to you on that one? It's seeing you making more defined decisions actually this week. There's a unicorn in there, so that would indicate university, learning. It also indicates oneness there as well. And also the third eye, inspirations coming into the third eye. And there's lots of flowers. So I feel as though that whatever you do this week, you will be walking on, I would say, flower petals. So success, inspiration, guidance, and opportunities coming your way. So I hope that resonates with you. Thank you for liking, hearting, commenting, and sharing. I do appreciate it. If you have enjoyed what you've seen on here, you would like to support the work that I do, I have got a Buy Me a Coffee link above or below this video, which is a virtual tip jar. So all of your grateful donations will be used in accordance with the spiritual work that I do. If you're wanting a spiritual reading or any other of my services, go over to my website, www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com, or you can find me on Facebook, Glenn Boddice Spiritual Medium. Join me every Monday at 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time on www.Pulse Radio with my radio show From Beyond with Glenn Boddice, talking about all things spiritual, paranormal, and self-help. Have a fantastic week, everybody. Bye for now.
Well, it sounds like we're all in for a very transformative week this week, where we're called upon to listen to our true essence and to move courageously with these new vibrations in each and every moment. So hold your faith and trust the true you that is stepping forward this week. That it sounds a little bit daunting, but also, I'm sure many of you agree, it sounds also a little bit exciting as well to tread a different pathway, doesn't it? So I hope that resonates with you. Thank you for joining in for this week. I do hope you've enjoyed the content that's been either influenced or directly channeled through from the world of spirit. It's always an honor and a privilege to bring this through for everybody that's listening. If you do have any questions to ask the show, or any show topic suggestions, then please contact me at www.glennboddicespiritualmedium, or you can email me at glennboddice@live.co.uk. And it would be fantastic to hear of these questions and have this interaction with you all. Moving forward with the show, what I would like to do is have like an episode maybe once a month where we do questions and answers, where you can interact with the show live, and then I can read your questions out live on the show and then answer any questions or queries that you have, or even you can share your experiences of either a paranormal, spiritual, or self-help nature with the listeners, with myself, and we can uncover and look at the various elements in your experience there to gain wisdom and insights for us all that are listening. So that's something that I'm currently working on at the moment with this show. So stay tuned and look out for that coming in the near future. Anyway, I wish you a wonderful week, whatever it is you're doing. Join me the same place, which is www.pulsetalkradio.com at 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time with this very show, From Beyond with Glenn Boddice. Have a fantastic week, everyone, and I look forward to your company next Monday. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to From Beyond. For more information about what products and services Glenn provides, go to glennboddicespiritualmedium.com